I never thought I'd wake up in my stepsister's skin, plotting to bury my father's empire under the weight of his own lies. But here I was, fingers tracing the curve of a jawline that wasn't mine, tasting revenge like cheap bourbon on an empty stomach. The eviction notice was still warm in her pocket, a crumpled fuck you from Dad that I'd used to choke the life out of his golden girl fantasy. And the best part? He had no idea the body he'd tried to throw away was the one holding the deed to everything he ever stole. I remember the day it all cracked open like a fault line under LA's endless sprawl. It was one of those sticky August afternoons in the valley, the kind where the smog hangs low and the air conditioners hum like they're about to give up the ghost. I was 25, fresh out of a 6-month stint in county lockup for a crime that wasn't mine, grand theft from Dad's real estate firm. They said. Embezzlement. 10 grand siphoned into some offshore account that magically traced back to my login. I'd taken the plea deal because fighting it meant dragging the family name through the mud, and God forbid Richard Hargrove's legacy get a single speck on it. That's what he told me. Anyway, in that hushed conference room with the lawyer's shark eyes gleaming under fluorescent lights. Take the hit, Emery. For the family. The family. What a joke. Mom had died when I was 12, ovarian cancer eating her from the inside out while Dad buried himself in board meetings and blondes. He'd remarried a year later to Vanessa, a Botox trophy with a laugh like shattering glass. And she came with baggage, Chloe, my stepsister, 2 years my junior, all wide-eyed innocence and valley girl drawl. Chloe, who I'd caught rifling through my laptop that night, her manicured nails flying over the keys like she was playing some fucked-up game of solitaire. But when the feds came knocking, it was my face on the wanted posters, my prints on the keyboard. Chloe's tears in the courtroom? Oscar-worthy. He was always jealous. Your Honor. Of our life. Jealous. Yeah. Right. I'd grown up in that McMansion in Encino, the one with the infinity pool overlooking the hills that looked like they were on fire at sunset. But it was never mine. Dad's firm, Hargrove Properties, was his kingdom. Strip malls in Fresno, luxury condos in WeHo, foreclosed dreams from families just like the one we'd become. I'd interned there since high school, crunching numbers in the back office, dreaming of one day running the show. Instead, I got the fall guy rap. And Chloe? She got the corner office after graduation, her poli-sci degree from USC framing her desk like a badge of honor. Out of jail, I crashed back home, the prodigal son with a felony record and a chip on his shoulder the size of the Hollywood sign. Vanessa cooed sympathies over organic kale smoothies, but her eyes said freak. Chloe avoided me like I was contagious, flitting in and out with her influencer gigs, blessed posts on Instagram, sponsored hauls from brands that wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole. Dad? He was a ghost, holed up in his downtown penthouse, barking orders over conference calls. Until the day he summoned me to the living room, that eviction notice slapped on the coffee table like a bad tip. Emery, he said, not looking up from his iPad. This isn't working. The house. It's straining things. Chloe's starting her own line, sustainable fashion. You know? She needs space to grow. A studio. We're converting the guest wing. I stared at him, the man who'd taught me to ride a bike on these very lawns, now dissecting me like a bad investment. Evict me? For her studio? Dad. This is my home. Mom left it to me. Details he cut in, waving a hand. His signet ring caught the light. Hargrove crest mocking me. The firm's handling the paperwork. You'll get a severance. Find an apartment in Koreatown or something. Start fresh. Start fresh. After he let me rot for her. The theft? It had to be Chloe. I'd seen the logs. The timestamps matching her late nights studying. But proving it meant war. And I was too broken, to fight. So I nodded, throat tight, and walked out to the pool house. The eviction deadline circled in red, 30 days. That's when the package arrived. No return address. Just my name scrawled in Sharpie on a plain brown box left on the doorstep. Inside, a sleek black device, no bigger than a TV remote, humming faintly when I picked it up. A note, typed and anonymous. One press swaps the shell. Truth lives in the swap. Use wisely or don't. Your call. Sci-fi bullshit, I thought, tossing it on the bed. But insomnia clawed at me that night, the valley heat pressing down like a guilty conscience. What if, just once, to peek into Chloe's world, see if the little thief's conscience matched her Lululemon wardrobe? Midnight. I crept into her room while she slept, the device warm in my palm like it knew my rage. Aiming it at her peaceful form, blonde hair fanned on silk pillows, lips parted in some influencer dream, I pressed the button. A jolt, like static shock amplified through my veins. The world blurred, inverted, and when it snapped back, I was staring up at me. My own body, slumped against the vanity, eyes wide in confusion. Holy shit. It worked. I was in Chloe's body. Live limbs, soft curves, the faint scent of vanilla body spray. Panic surged, hers, mine, ours, but curiosity won. I flexed her fingers, stood on wobbly heels, and faced the mirror. Same face, but the eyes, mine, stormy gray instead of her cornflower blue. The swap held, at least for now. I had 24 hours. The note had implied, before it reversed. Enough time to snoop. Chloe's, my temporary, phone buzzed with notifications, texts from Dad, gushing about the studio launch, emails from the firm, approving her innovative expense reports. And buried in a hidden folder, transaction logs. Offshore transfers. My old login credentials spoofed to hers. Proof. Crystal fucking clear. She'd framed me, and Dad, he'd signed off. Probably, to protect his princess. Rage boiled, hot and righteous. But this body, it was a key. I could confront her in mine, force a confession. Or better, use it. Slip into Dad's world, whisper poisons in his ear, unravel the threads from the inside. Dawn broke, and the swap held. I dressed in Chloe's uniform, yoga pants, cropped tee, effortless chic, and drove her Tesla to the penthouse downtown, the Hollywood freeway a snarl of horns and exhaust. Dad's doorman waved me through, to him. I was Chloe, the favored one. Richard was in his study, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city like a conquered kingdom. He looked up, smiling that polished Hargrove grin. Morning, sweetheart. Early bird today. I perched on the desk, crossing her legs, my legs now like I'd seen her do 1,000 times. Daddy, I purred, the word tasting like acid, about Emery. The eviction. It's harsh, don't you think? He sighed, rubbing his temples. Necessary. The boy's a liability. That theft, it nearly tanked us. Chloe, you understand. Family first. Family first. The hypocrisy stung. But what if it wasn't him? What if? I know something. I leaned in, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, channeling every Lifetime movie Betrayal I'd ever binge-watched. I saw the logs. It was me, someone close. Covering tracks. His face tightened, that telltale vein pulsing in his forehead. What are you talking about? I pulled up her phone, flashing the folder. His eyes widened, then narrowed. Chloe, this is delete that.
Now.
It's nothing. A glitch.
A glitch.
My glitch. The man who'd raised me, sort of covering for her again.
Dad.
If it gets out. It won't. He stood, towering, the power dynamic flipping like a bad coin. You're my girl. We protect our own. Emery? He's collateral. Always was. Collateral. The word hung, heavy as the smog outside. I wanted to lunge, to claw that smug face. But Chloe's body trembled, too soft, too unused to fight. Instead, I nodded, tears welling easy in this face, and fled. Back in Encino, the real Chloe in my body pounded on the pool house door, voice cracking. What the fuck did you do? Give it back. I opened, smirking in my own skin now, the swap reversing mid-confrontation. Thank God.
Oh.
Honey, I said, her drawl slipping out unbidden. You have no idea what you've started. That night, I pressed the button again. Not on her. On him. Dad. The device hummed hotter, like it fed on my hate. The jolt hit harder. Bodies twisting in some quantum bullshit I didn't understand. Maybe black market tech from one of his shady developers. Who knew? I landed in his frame. Broad shoulders. Salt and pepper hair. The weight of years and lies pressing down. Me. Woke in the pool house. Disoriented. Pounding on the guest house door where Vanessa slept oblivious.
Power.
It surged through me like the first hit of coke at a sunset strip party. I was Richard Hargrove, king of the valley, and the city bowed. First stop, the firm. Hargrove Properties' glass tower loomed like a monolith. His name etched in steel. Interns scattered as I stormed the boardroom, barking for files on the embezzlement. They jumped, fetching dossiers, coffee, ass-kissing memos. Chloe's folder? Buried deeper than I thought, cross-referenced with Dad's personal accounts. Skimming millions, not thousands. Offshore shells in the Caymans, funneled through her fashion startup. And Dad, signatory on every one. Not just covering complicit. He'd used her as a front, laundering dirty deals from desperate flips during the '08 crash foreclosures. Families ruined, suicides whispered in footnotes. And me, the patsy to throw off the IRS hounds. Betrayal didn't cover it. This was a dynasty built on graves. And I'd been the sacrificial lamb, too loyal to question. My hands, his, shook as I drafted emails, anonymous tips to the feds. Leaks to the LA Times. Controversial? Hell yes. Destroying the man who raised me, even if he deserved it. But as the sends whooshed out, a thrill cut through the guilt. Revenge tasted like vindication, sharp and sweet. The swap clock ticked, 18 hours now. I drove back, the Bentley purring under me, to find chaos. Dad, in my body, raging in the living room. Vanessa cowering, Chloe filming it all for content. What the hell is happening? He bellowed, my voice cracking with his panic. I stepped in, cool as the marble floors. Rough night. Son. The words dripped, foreign in his baritone. He froze. My eyes, narrowing. Emery?
No.
This isn't possible. I circled him, savoring the height, the authority. You taught me everything about deals.
Dad.
Shell companies. Hidden clauses. Like the deed to this house. I pulled it from his desk drawer, the one Mom had notarized before she died, leaving it to me outright. Bypassing his family trust, he'd buried it. Forged addendums to claim control. For Chloe's comfort.
Sure. For his empire.
Mostly. Vanessa gasped, hand to her pearls. Chloe dropped her phone, screen cracking on the rug.
Daddy.
The room spun with accusations. But I held the line, voice steady. Call off the eviction, Richard. Or the feds get the full show, your princess and her piggy bank. He lunged my body against his, and for a moment, we grappled. Father and son inverted. The air thick with grunts, and the scent of his cologne mixing with my sweat. Controversial? Beating your own flesh. Even swapped. Across lines I'd never imagined. But I pinned him, whispering, you made me the monster. The swap reversed mid-scuffle. Bodies slamming back. Me sprawling on the floor in my skin. Him rising like Lazarus. Face purple with fury. You're done, Emery.
Out.
Now. But the leaks hit by morning. Sirens wailed outside the tower. Reporters swarmed the gates. Chloe's accounts frozen. Dad's board scattering like roaches. Vanessa packed Louis Vuittons, sobbing about betrayal. And me? I stood on the lawn, deed in hand, watching the empire crumble. The fallout was biblical. Flames licking the edges of everything I'd once called home. By noon, the L.A. Times splashed it across their site. Hargrove Properties heir implicated in multi-million laundering scheme, family insider spills. Not my name, anonymous source. Remember? But the photos told the tale. Chloe in handcuffs outside the Encino PD. Her tear-streaked face perfect for the clickbait thumbnails.
Dad.
Stone-faced in a suit that suddenly hung loose. No comment as feds swarmed his penthouse. Vanessa?
Mia.
Probably sipping rose in Palm Springs. Filing for divorce from some prepaid lawyer. I watched from a dive bar in North Hollywood, nursing a Bud Light that tasted like victory sweat, the device tucked in my jacket like a loaded Glock. One swap down, but the hunger gnawed deeper. This wasn't enough. They'd stolen years, my freedom, my name, my shot at something real. Chloe's frame job had cost me a law school deferral. Job offers evaporated. Friends ghosting like I was the villain in my own life. And Dad? He'd known. Laughed it off over steak at Musso and Frank. Toasting to lessons learned. Lessons. Like survival of the sleaziest. The bar TV flickered to oppressor. Chloe. Bailed out by some slimy attorney. Microphone in her manicured fist. This is a misunderstanding. My family's been targeted. Jealousy from within. Cut to her eyes. Darting. Landing on the camera like a plea.
To me.
I raised my glass. Toasting the screen. Misunderstanding my ass. Night fell. Neon buzzing over Ventura Boulevard like faulty wiring. I hit an underground contact, Rico. A hacker buddy from juvie days. Now slinging dark web gigs from a Van Nuys basement. Body swapper? For real? He cackled over burner phone static, voice like gravel in a blender. That's some Freaky Friday on acid shit.
Eminência.
But yeah, I traced the shipper. Black market neural rig. Experimental, Silicon Beach startup gone rogue. Reverses on a timer. But hacks? Possible. Dangerous.
Though.
Fry your synapses if you push it. Dangerous. The word should have stopped me, but guilt was a luxury I couldn't afford. Make it permanent. For her. Rico whistled. Cold.
Man.
That's murder by identity theft. You sure?
Was I?
The mirror in his setup lair showed a man hollowed out, dark circles under gray eyes. Stubble like regret. But beneath? Fire. The kind that raised forests. Do it. By dawn. The device purred upgraded. A Frankenstein heart with infinite swaps. I aimed it at Chloe's vanity mirror selfie on my phone neural lock. Rico called it and pressed. The jolt hit like a freight train. But this time, no reversal. I was her. Fully. Her loft in Silver Lake. Minimalist chic with exposed brick and a fridge stocked with green juices. Her body moved fluid, memories bleeding in, the thrill of that first transfer, the rush of Dad's approval, the sick twist when she hit enter on my frame job. For us, she'd told herself, staring at the screen. He'll never know.
Us.
The secret she'd buried. Not just greed, but love. Twisted. Forbidden, Chloe and Dad. Whispers in the penthouse shadows. Her internship more than spreadsheets. Incestuous, rot at the core. The real crime I'd borne. Embezzlement? Cover for payoffs to silence rumors, to keep their sickness hidden. I'd taken the fall to protect. What? A monster's fairy tale. Horror coiled in my gut, her gut, but I shoved it down. This was leverage. The blade's edge. I dressed in her armor, silk blouse, pencil skirt, red soles clicking like countdowns. First stop, the firm's crisis meeting. Zoom from a hotel suite since the tower was taped off. Execs in pixelated squares. Dad at the head, voice like thunder. We pivot. Blame hackers. Chloe, your statement. I leaned into frame, her lips curving in that practiced pout.
Daddy. I
can't. It's too much.
Pause for effect.
Tears glistening. Emery knew. He hacked us, revenge for the eviction. Gasps rippled. Virtual nods. Dad's face cracked. Just a hair, relief? Pride? We'll handle it. Family sticks.
Sticks.
Like tar. Pulling me under. But I had the play. Post-meeting. I cornered him in the suite's balcony. City sprawl mocking our fall. Richard, I said, her voice soft. We need to talk. About us. He turned, eyes hungry, pulling me close. The touch, his hands on her waist, made bile rise. But I endured, whispering, the logs. I kept copies. Everything. His grip tightened. What do you want? Chloe? Money? A new start. Truth. I shoved the phone at him, playing the audio I'd ripped from her memories, their voices, entangled, plotting my ruin. You let him rot for this? For us. Shock. Then fury. You recorded, bitch. He lunged, but I was faster. Her yoga-toned dodge slipping free. The device, hidden in her clutch, hummed as I pressed it on him.
Swap.
Instant. I was Dad again. Him trapped in Chloe's shell, staggering in heels. You feel that? I growled, his timbre booming. The weight? That's what you put on me. She clawed at the balcony rail, voice pitching high. Emery? God. No, give it back. This isn't you. Is it me? You made me. I circled, the city lights blurring with unshed rage. Controversial decisions? Exposing their filth to the board via mass email nudes, transfers, the whole rotten apple. Leaks to TMZ. Headlines screaming Hargrove Dynasty's dark secret. But the real gut punch, calling Vanessa, spilling it live. Her scream echoed through the line. A banshee wail that cracked something in me. Was this justice or just dragging innocence through the pyre? Dad, Chloe sobbed, makeup streaking.
Please.
I'll confess. Everything. Just. Swap back. Temptation nod. End it clean. Let the courts chew them. But no, the twist I'd craved. In his memories, flooding now, the truth reversed. It wasn't love. Protection. Chloe, groomed not by him, but by Uncle Vance, Dad's partner, the real puppet master. Vance, with his Cayman vaults and whispers, who'd forced Chloe's hand, used her to bleed the firm. Dad knew, covered to shield her, framing me as the outsider threat. For the family, he'd rationalized.
Same as me.
Betrayal layered, onion skin deep. I pressed the device again, swapping us back. Him collapsing in his body. Her in hers, Chloe's eyes.
My storm.
Pleading. Vance, I said. It's him. Understanding dawned, shattering. Dad nodded. Broken.
Go.
Before he comes. But Vance was already there. Shadow in the doorway. Gun drawn, silencer gleaming like a promise. Touching. But loose ends get tied. Richard. The shot cracked. Muffled. And Dad crumpled. Blood blooming on his shirt. No gore in the prompt. But here, real as the copper tang in the air. Chloe screamed me screaming, and Vance turned, eyes cold. Your turn, princess.
I dove?
Device firing wild. Swap. Chaos, me and Vance. Him and Chloe. Bodies tumbling. Guns skittered. And in a skin 60. Wiry. Tasting of cigars, I rose, aiming at the imposter in her form. You ruined us all. The trigger pull was mercy. Or madness. Controversial as hell. Her body jerked, Vance's soul fleeing in a spray of red. Swap back. And I cradled Dad, his breaths ragged.
Deed.
Yours.
Kid.
Always was. He died at dawn. Sirens closing in. Chloe, real Chloe, soul intact in death, stared vacant from the floor.
Me?
I walked out, deed in pocket. The house mine by law. Empire ash. The cleanup was a circus of suits and spotlights. Feds combing the suite like it was ground zero for America's original sin. I slipped out the service exit. Vance's blood still tacky under my nails, Chloe's nails, heart hammering a beat that wasn't mine. The device? Smashed on the balcony. Shards glittering like fallen stars. Rico's hack ensuring no traces led back. But the weight? It lingered. A phantom limb of guilt and glory. Back in Encino, the McMansion stood sentinel. Pool lights flickering like bioluminescent accusations. Vanessa returned at dusk. Eyes puffy. Louis Vuittons abandoned in the foyer. Emery? She clutched a rosary, Catholic guilt. Late blooming. What happened? Richard. Chloe. I faced her in the living room. The same spot of the eviction notice. Now a shrine of crime scene tape and takeout boxes.
Gone.
Vance got them. Half-truth. But her flinch said enough. She'd suspected. The blind eye turned for the lifestyle. She collapsed on the sofa, sobbing. I knew. About Vance and Chloe. Thought it was just business. Richard wanted to protect her. Framed you to throw him off.
Protect.
The word echoed. A bitter loop. I'd borne the crime, the jail, the exile for a pedophile's cover-up, a father's warped love. Controversial? Telling her the full swap. The shots I'd fired in borrowed skin?
Nah.
Instead, I poured scotch, Dad's 12-year, from the bar cart. The deed's mine. Vanessa. Mom's will. Ironclad. Her head snapped up. Mascara rivers carving canyons. You can't. This is her home, Chloe's legacy. Legacy. Laughter barked out.
Raw.
She stole mine. You all did. We sat in silence. The valley night pressing in. Coyotes yipping distant dirges. By morning, lawyers swarmed, mine, hers, the estates. Hargrove Properties dissolved in bankruptcy court. Assets liquidated to pay restitution. Families from the foreclosures. Getting checks that couldn't buy back homes or heal scars.
Me?
I kept the house. Not out of spite, but survival. Sold off chunks, the guest wing to developers. Pool filled in for a Zen garden that mocked the infinity we'd chased. Months blurred. A haze of depositions and therapy sessions in Santa Monica, where shrinks probed the trauma without grasping the sci-fi fracture. Rico vanished, poof. Dark web style, leaving a burner text, "You're the monster now."
Eminencia.
Wear it well. Nightmares came, Chloe's face on Vance's body. Pleading, Dad's last gasp. Forgiving or damning. I'd save them from ruin. Expose the rot. But at what cost? A life swapped in echoes. Trust evaporated like morning fog off the hills. The twist hit on a rainy Tuesday. 6 months post-bloodbath. A letter. Postmarked Caymans. Vance's will. Leaked by some offshore fixer. Not suicide, wait. Vance was dead. But the real reverse? Chloe hadn't been the victim. She'd been the architect. Groomed? Bullshit. At 18, she'd seduced Vance for leverage. Then looped in Dad for the launder. Framing me when the heat rose. For the family, her journals confessed. Hidden in a cloud drive I'd missed. Power. Not protection. I'd killed the wrong monster. Shot her soul in panic. Letting the truth die with her. Rage reignited.
But hollow now.
Controversial ending? I burned the house. Not arson, insurance fire. Faulty wiring from the swap static. Pocketing the payout. Walking away clean. No happy ever after. No tragic bow, just a man. 30 now. In a Koreatown walk-up. Staring at the Hollywood sign like it owed me answers. The deed? Shredded. Worthless ash. Revenge? It filled the void, then left a bigger one. Was I hero, avenger, or the villain who'd blurred the lines? Ask the mirror, it lies.
Just like family.
L.A. Churns on, smog and dreams indistinguishable. I blend in, Just another ghost in the machine. But sometimes, in the quiet, I feel the hum, that phantom device, whispering one more swap. And I wonder, who's next?